Welcome to another Tuesday evening Camberley Chess Club Zoom meeting, and a few of our members are going to show us some games this evening, very interesting games. And I think, first of all, Paul Sloan will show us a game. Yes, let me share my screen. Let me know, can you see my screen with a chessboard on it? Yeah. This is a game between Aleksandrov and Belozerov in 2012. Aleksandrov is 2,607 FIDE rating. Belozerov is 2,523, or they were at the time. So no slouches. And,
where are they from?
Sorry?
Where are they from?
I'm guessing Russia. Are we still allowed to show Russians?
No.
Oh yes, we are.
And it's interesting because it involves a line against the King's Indian that I'm looking at the moment. I often struggle a little bit against the King's Indian, so I'm looking for new lines. And this guy, Aleksandrov, plays an interesting line against the King's Indian. So off we go. Let's see what happens. Do you want the engine on, Paul? I'll put it on short layer. What have I got on at the moment? You've got the engine on. I just wondered whether you wanted it. I'll take that off for the moment. Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, what we have here, once we get here, this is now, that is a standard King's Indian position. They arrived at it a slightly unusual way, but that is standard. And I play h3 here as white, and what it does is it makes it difficult for black to develop his white squared bishop. His white squared bishop's a pretty horrible piece here. And he has to bring it out to b7 or somewhere. So that's the purpose of h3. It's also to stop knight g4, Paul. It also stops knight g4, yes. If you want to go e5. That's right. So c5 is quite common. And you also always, well, if you get e5 or c5, you typically answer it with d5 in the King's Indian. And then black plays this move with the intention of opening up the e file, which is rather annoying. So you can put your bishop on e2 or d3. He chooses to put it on d3. And then, of course, you take the pawn. Now, most people here take back c takes d, which does allow black then to create a bit of mischief on the queen side with a6 and b5 and things. So Aleksandrov chose this line, which is slightly unusual, because it gives black the opportunity to play this move, rook e8 check. And what would you play here as white?
Ef1.
Bishop e3.
Bishop e3.
I would almost certainly play bishop e3, but Aleksandrov plays king f1, and king f1 is quite fashionable in some lines against the King's Indian. Now, you keep the rook on h1, or it can move to g1, and you're going to play g4 and possibly h4, h5. So black still has a problem with where to put his pieces, so he plays a. Now, whenever black plays a6, the almost automatic reply is a4, because you don't want the b5, because if he plays b5 and you take there, you weaken the d5 pawn as well as white. So you play a4 to prevent b5. The knight naturally comes here, and the best place for the bishop is on g5, just pinning this knight against the queen. It's quite awkward for black, that because the queen can't move to e8 here because the rook's there. That comes there. Bishop drops back. The knight comes in here, and white takes off. This knight is quite a nasty piece on e5, so white will typically remove that. He takes back with the rook, and now what Aleksandrov does is he plays queen d2, which means that he's hitting the pawn on h6. And normally, when you play this, black would automatically play king h2, king h7, sorry. And I would play that without thinking as black, but in fact, his opponent here played a different move. He played queen f8, presumably clearing the E file to bring the other rook onto E8. I don't know. I guess that's his intention. And he can now play his white squared bishop out to F5 maybe. So in order to prevent that, we put white plays G4. This is a very aggressive line against the King's Indian. So normally in the King's Indian, it's black that throws his pawns against the white king side. But in this line, it's white that throws his pawns against the black king. The knight drops back, presumably to counter G5. And then white plays this move, which is quite nice. Bishop F4. Now, if the rook drops back to E8, then white can play knight to E4, and he's hitting the D6 pawn twice, which is a little bit awkward. So in this position, black chose to give up the exchange, which actually worked out moderately well for him. I wouldn't have done it, but he played this very aggressive move. He's got his queen on the same file as the white king, and he wants to open up this F file. So he's prepared to give up the exchange to do it. And so bishop takes rook, bishop takes bishop, and this bishop now, the black is very strong on the black squares now, because it's very difficult for white to oppose black on the black squares. And the white position isn't looking quite so good after that, because the G pawn is looking a little bit weak. So the queen comes over.
Well, why didn't white play F4 to be aggressive now?
Well, he would get bishop to D4 then. D4 is quite a nice square for the bishop.
Well, you could play pawn takes pawn.
Oh yeah, I can play pawn takes pawn and pin it. That's right.
I mean, a pawn.
Yeah, he can't do that. So
well, G6 is hanging, but
if he plays this, then
it's quite open, isn't it? For white with the king.
He can play this.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh yes, yeah. In fact, that's not a threat at all, is it? F4, no.
No, F4 would be a blunder, Martin.
Yeah, fair enough. Just checking, just making sure everybody's following.
Okay, so in this position, who is it to move? Queen E2. Yeah, he played the queen here to protect the G4 pawn, but that allows he then plays the king up, and he played pawn takes pawn. He's quite happy to exchange off here because he knows he's the exchange up. Bishop takes bishop. And then this really, really strange move, rook A3. And the point about this is that the third rank is going to be cleared shortly, and he wants to be able to bring this rook across to F3 or G3. So it's quite an unusual move, the rook A3 move, but it will make sense. So this is quite a nasty little move. Threatening bishop takes knight or something similar. So you see, black has quite good compensation for the exchange here, because the spare white rook is stuck on H1 and not doing very much at the moment, though it will come into the game. So white has to do something about this threat on the E file. Takes off this first of all. And then he goes here. This is really quite odd. But by doing this, he's cleared the third rank so that the rook can come across to F3, for instance. And if the bishop moves now to, say, D4, he can play queen to F3.
Got queen takes
He's got queen takes rook's better. You're right, you're right. So he plays rook here, that's right. I don't understand that move. What's the point of that move?
I think black was going to play knight G5.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
To stop the rook coming to F3.
Oh, yeah, I see now. He plays knight here.
And they come to G4.
And the rook coming out. White starts to get some pressure against this G6 pawn. White goes here. So now he's got his rooks in the positions he wants them. Rook to f3 and g1. Queen has to move. So the queen comes here. It's hitting the h-pawn, but the h-pawn doesn't matter that much. So white just ignores that and plays knight to e3. Has to rehabilitate this knight.
Not sure.
Maybe that's to allow rook g7. The knight comes here hitting the bishop, and I don't think black wants to give up that bishop. So black, oh no, it's better to give up the bishop. Yeah. He plays
He
queen.
couldn't take the knight, could he? Because of rook takes rook check, so he has to give up the bishop. Yeah.
The queen comes here hitting this. So this is now quite threatening. Black plays here. Now, what does white play here?
Knight takes knight. Rook h3.
Knight takes rook pawn.
Knight h6.
Sorry?
Knight h6.
Knight takes h6.
Yeah.
You got queen takes g6,
Rook h3.
queen g6.
Oh,
So
Knight takes
it
h6.
might not work actually. Unfortunately, nearly
Knight
works.
takes h6.
If it
No, hang on. That
blind.
doesn't work. It's mate on. You've got to be careful. It's mate on f2 if you move the rook across.
Oh, there's rook. Oh, that's clever.
No,
No, the
knight e5.
queen's pinned.
I think rook h3.
I like moving the knight to attack g6 with mate. Can't we just go knight e5?
He takes it.
Well, then you've got queen takes g6 check and then mate.
oh yeah.
This is the way to win.
Where's the mate?
Well, can you
G8.
protect the board?
g8.
Yeah.
No, the knight's on it. That's what he played. He played knight e5.
Well, yeah, then you take with the knight. Then the knight takes rook. If he, where's he going with his king?
Plays his king to
What move?
g8.
Yeah, well, hang on. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, let's play it over rather than.
That's
Yeah.
what he played. There's no mate,
Okay.
but you do pick up the rook.
Well, could he not have played rook takes knight first?
So
So before queen takes rook, rook takes f6.
Still looks winning, doesn't it?
Sorry, queen takes, yeah, king h8, and then rook takes f6.
Oh yeah. You might be open to some checks with the queen though. Then.
Yeah,
On
What are you
h3.
saying? You're saying this move.
yeah.
after king h8, yeah.
Let's check. Oh, king h8, yeah.
New
That's no
variation.
perpetual. There's
Play
no
queen
perpetual.
x3.
New variation.
And the check just run out.
Queen takes pawn. It's not
Oh.
perpetual.
Oh,
that
that one.
Ooh. And the attack rages.
Yeah.
And where's the king going?
Oh, it could go to g2, of course. Be
No, it can't. There's no mate then. Then they place rook takes rook. King goes here,
Or rook g7.
It was the communication.
or rook g7, correct?
No, well, I prefer rook takes rook. Having said that, actually.
No, hold on, because if he does this, you've got queen e8,
Yeah.
and all right then.
I think this is leading with a chin.
Yeah, that's no good.
I think rook g7 might have been better.
Maybe.
Okay, anyway,
Yeah,
that's why I didn't play it.
Right. What did he play?
He played,
So he did play knight e5.
yes, he did play knight e5. That was the key move. And then he played queen takes f7.
So he's two.
So he's got two rooks for a knight and a bishop at this stage, but black does have some counterplay. He takes here, check. king here. And then he pins this.
Ah. Hmm.
What would you play here as white?
Rook H1 perhaps.
Yeah, looks good. Hmm.
Well, rook h1, doesn't he have queen g4 check?
Yeah, we're going to have to play Rook G3, I think. He might have a perpetual, but I'm not sure we're winning here.
I'll play Rook G3, it's pinned.
No,
No,
after
Rook
Queen
H1.
G4.
Anyway, white played queen here, check, king here, queen here, check, king, queen here.
Oh, surprise.
What does
I
that do?
see the point.
And he played pawn on, so that this is now defended by the knight. And he played this strange move, b3. I think white's taking the... So the queen now is protecting the g4 square. I'm not sure that black can play knight takes d5 because of rook f8. Check.
Can you play Queen H4?
He can play queen. Who? Black. Queen
Black,
h4. Yeah, he can, but he likes this pin, I think, on the f3.
I was just
rook.
thinking he's mating on H2.
Yeah, but rook h3 then straight away.
Yeah, it's not mate anyway. He can retreat to f1. King here.
True.
So at this stage, white plays.
Oh,
Wants to exchange the queens for sure. Queen.
that's why he moved the pawns how he did, I think.
Yeah. Now king here. Now what would you play here as white?
Oh,
Maybe rook takes bishop.
yeah.
Maybe. I'll probably try and keep the exchange actually myself, but
Well, the trouble is, if you don't play rook takes bishop, he's going to play knight takes the d pawn, and then he's got quite a handy pawn setup.
Yeah, and if you play rook takes bishop, you've got to pass d pawn and against a knight.
So that's what he played.
But,
the grandmaster gave back the exchange here, and then he played this move.
Oof.
And this is now quite threatening.
It is, but they can arrange a welcoming committee. It's not that.
Yeah.
So yeah, black's still playing here.
Yeah, definitely.
And what white did here was he played f3 to stop the knight coming to e4, I assume.
What a knockout blow.
Oh, not
Yeah.
king here.
Why not put the knight back to e8 and then take the pawn?
Well, he can. He can, but it's slow. It is very slow. He blockades the pawn.
Oh, now his knight is useless.
Well, yeah, but he's got a lot of pawns, and the knight is supporting both the pawns on c5 and e5,
Yeah.
and it is preventing the d pawn from advancing.
Yeah, that's true.
So he switches now that the rook's no longer needed to defend that pawn.
Ah, there it is. Oh, gosh, complicated, isn't it? Oh, black's going to get past pawn on this side now.
Yeah, but
Rookie, rook e6.
Yep.
And then e7. No. Okay.
Well, in this position, black resigned.
What?
Oh, Zugzwang, isn't it?
King f5, king e6.
Yeah, king's coming to f5 and e6, which is rather strong. Well,
No, I see.
He's got no moves, has he?
well, he can play this move and the pawn takes, and then this can run, but the rook can get round and stop it.
Yeah. But then the d pawn would go. It doesn't look resignable as black, does it?
No.
Well, let's try this. Who is black to
play on a
me?
bit.
what about king d5?
It's a move.
Let me just sit tight. There's no point. And then just. Say, well, if you're going to win it, how are you winning it?
It's white to move. So
King F5.
Yeah.
King F5. Now, if he goes to E6 straight away, then the knight F8 is playable. So what does black do now?
Well, I was thinking rook E6, rook E7, but that doesn't. No, that doesn't work.
No,
anymore.
black do now.
Yeah, what does black play? Black's struggling for a move now.
Well, say King D5.
Yeah.
Just with the intention of going back to C6, you know, just sitting.
Yeah.
How do
we can perhaps temporize, just play
rook G7.
Well, not up.
Oh no!
No, I wanted to stay on the E pawn.
Rook G8. Give the pawn up. Play rook G8.
Well,
rook G8. He takes the D pawn, doesn't
it? Doesn't matter. Rook G8.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, rook D8.
Rook H8. Sorry, rook A8.
King D5. Oh no!
I thought you were going to pin the knight, take it, and then take the E pawn and queen the H pawn, but it doesn't.
This is better for white, isn't it?
Well, how about C4 though?
It was always better for white, but we wanted something tangible.
King C5.
Take on.
You're going to go King E6, aren't you?
I'm going to take the pawn.
And you're going to play King E6 afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. No, agreed. Well,
it seems strange giving up the D pawn.
Just take the pawn. Take the pawn.
Oh yeah. Clinical.
Yeah,
that wins. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that because I think the King F1 idea is a very interesting one for white, and then the G4 and King F1 approach is a new idea, I think, against the King's Indian.
Pretty hair raising.
Yes, isn't it a very complicated game?
Yeah, I found it very instructive. I play the King's Indian, and I often wonder whether to do E6 in that kind of setup, and often I don't. But I'm going to look at that a bit more strongly now because what happened in that was interesting. Yeah.
Well, that's more in the realms of a Benoni, isn't it?
Yes, close to a Benoni, that is. Yeah.
There's a new book out, by the way, on the King's Indian by Garwayne Jones.
Oh, is there? That'll be an interesting read.
What's it called, Philip? Could you hold it up again? Sorry.
King's Indian 1. This is volume 1.
Oh,
dear me.
Oh, I saw that, Philip, at the 4NCL, but I rejected it because it's huge, isn't it? It's really thick.
I was going to ask how much does it weigh?
I was thinking, what about volume 2 and 3?
670 pages.
No. What does it cost?
It was 30 quid, I think.
No, it was a bit. I got it a bit cheaper.
Oh, you got 10% off, yeah.
Well, if you go to Chess Direct,
yeah,
you bought from them.
No, I always buy from Chess and Bridge.
They're in Chess Direct are equally good.
And they're cheaper.
How much was it, Philip, if I may ask?
I think I got it for about 26 quid.
Yeah, I could have got it for 27, yeah.
How many volumes are there?
I don't know.
Or will there be?
Well, there was definitely going to be 2, but possibly 3. And I thought 200 pages and another volume to come. I'm never going to get through it.
No.
So the problem with the King's Indian is there's so much theory and variations to cover.
Don't play it then.
Surely that's true of everything.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot more in the King's Indian. I mean, you've got the aardvark and stuff like that, you know. Knight A6.
The trouble with not playing an opening like the King's Indian is you have to learn all sorts of different openings.
Well,
yeah. Well, that was what I was keen to
system, isn't it?
I was keen to switch to the Grunfield, you know, when someone did a talk on that, because it's got some similarities.
I like the Petrov as black, actually, against D4, Knight F3.
Yeah.
Interesting. A very instructive game, Paul, actually.
Yeah.
A lot to it. I'm going to have a look at it later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I haven't seen that King F1 move, though.
But it wasn't very good for white in the end, was it?
It was okay, yeah.
Well, to start with, it didn't look good, did it?
That was the plan. He always planned to put king to f1, and then he was going to play g4, and then after that he plays h4 and h5.
But I thought a bit later on you said that black was better off.
But I think black came when he gave up the exchange. I thought he got a lot of compensation for it.
Yeah, and I thought so too. And I think he went wrong after that, didn't he? But anyway.
We've got it's a novel way of getting the rook out on the A file, wasn't it?
That was very novel.
Yeah.
Yeah, rook A3.
So, something similar that black does in the Budapest, isn't it?
Who was the game again, Paul? I'm sorry, I've forgotten. Who was the match?
Just a minute, I'll show you.
You didn't have it up?
No.
I beg your pardon?
You didn't have who it was between, so I must admit that's why I've forgotten. Ah, here we go.
So Alexei Aleksandrov, 2607, and Andrei Belozerov. And it said Pavlodar Open on the 12th of June, 2012.
Brilliant.
10 years ago.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd be surprised if black didn't have better there, though, somewhere.
Yeah, we could have put the engine on all the way through. It might have been interesting.
Yeah, complex, very complex game there. But both players could easily go wrong there, I think.
Yeah, that's the trouble with the King's Indian. It can get very hairy on the King's side.
Yeah.
Okay, who's next?
Fabulous.
James.
James, are you ready?
Sort of, I think. Okay, I press share screen.
Yep.
Indeed.
And then I go here.
That's it.
Hey.
Yes. Perfect.
The sport has appeared.
Well done.
Thank you.
Very good.
The game was played in 1947. And as I say, I found it in 6 books I went through. Just about everything had it, including Joe Gallagher's book on the King's Gambit, which was only written about 15 years ago. Philip will remember Joe Gallagher, I think, because he used to come to Basingstoke a fair bit and play in the rapid plays. This game, as I say, was played in 1947 against Dubinin, who is not a famous player, and he apparently was something of a weightlifter. Bronstein said he had an amazing physique. Anyway, here he is playing black in the King's Gambit, and it's a game from the Soviet Championship of 1947. Bronstein wasn't selected to play against a committee on the death of Aleksandrov in 1946. A committee drew up a list of players who could play off to see who would become world champion. So it's not like a candidates, it was one step further forwards. And Bronstein wasn't selected in 1948, but in fact in 1951 he qualified under somewhat dubious circumstances, which I won't bore you with, but nevertheless, here he is playing in 1947, and he was by this time one of the strongest players in the world. Right. Now let's
and Ukrainian, I believe. Correct?
Yes, that's right. Hence the fact we're doing it now. That's worked. Good. And he's taken it. Now, is there anybody in the audience that recognizes this position from a game played in 1977 in the Basingstoke League, Queen Mary's versus Basingstoke Chess Club?
Is it James Pratt versus somebody?
You might get one of the players right. I wondered whether there was anyone else in the audience that might recognize it.
Wasn't me, was it?
It was you. You played like a bloody star. I don't mind losing with the King's Gambit, but I didn't even get my pieces off the back rank. You obviously knew it very well. And anyway, here we are. This is the Kaiseritsky. And here's the move. The point of this is partly to hold back the black pawn storm and also to give a square on g5 if the pawns had come to g4. But in this variation, he doesn't need it. Because look.
Ooh.
And he says this is the Kaiseritsky. And now he says knight h6 was the more fashionable move. This is the long whip. There it is. And this is the whip. In which he had prepared, in a manner of speaking, an innovation. Well, Bronstein is forever claiming now he clears out his back parlour. And there it is.
Amazing position.
Hanging on to the gambit pawn. The new thinking wasn't it, to give back the pawn in timely fashion for an advantage, which needn't be in the acceleration of development. So more development, knight c6. These last two moves constitute an innovation. He has begun developing his minor pieces, none of which have moved up till then. But Bronstein wishes to demonstrate that black is rather too late with his laudable intention. Now, this move here, I'll look in some of the other books. I think Gallagher gives us an exclamation mark and also comments that this is nearly always a good move. I think that's a bit of a dangerous thing to say, but maybe he didn't know what he was talking about. Bronstein mentions his 1994 game where he played against a computer. David was invited to Holland and as a visiting dignitary and played against various computers. Just going to see. Oh, yes. This is the book, The King's Gambit, a game collection published by the chess player, and a book by the great late Graham Thimmon. And Thimmon likes this move very much. This sacrifice is thematic and always good for white. So there we are. And in 200 open games, let's see what it says. It says, James, you're boring them all to death. Let's see what it says. Can hardly wait. It says, you should without fail look in the old handbooks of the King's Gambit. There you will find all the moves of my game against Dubinin. Oh, I see. Not all old moves are by any means old. Well, how ironic can you get? And finally, Joe Gallagher, back to Joe. He says, it's
a good move.
It's a good move. He gives this an exclamation mark, but he doesn't give any commentary at all. Let's just press on then. I've wasted enough time.
I was going to say, James, that
hello.
I'm presuming that black has to take this sacrifice, doesn't he?
Well, his queen's on freeze.
Yeah, I was going to say there's not really many places to move the queen to without knight d5 coming in.
Oh, I see.
Where are you going to move the queen if you don't take it?
Queen could go to f6.
Knight d5.
Knight d5 is very unpleasant.
Yeah. Whichever.
Oh, I think in the interest, I think what one thing Bronstein sort of says in 19th century style is, are you sort of man enough to take it? You know,
well, I think you've got to here.
You've got to take it. You can't. And you do get rid of two of White's attacking pieces by taking it. You get rid of the knight and the bishop.
Yes, indeed. So, okay, I accept what you say.
White can cast now.
Yeah, casting becomes more dangerous. So
because better.
Black can play queen takes h4, can he or not?
Aha, that's the next question. Is this a neat tactical point? Ensures that black will be defenseless against the coming onslaught. And there it is.
Wow.
And the crowd went wild.
In the bishop, I suppose.
And they castle after bishop f4.
And now, castling.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Hartston said that when Bronstein played in the Aleksandrov Memorial in Teesside, whoever shared a table with Bronstein at lunchtime always lost in the afternoon. And one of Bronstein's theories was that castling is far more a king move than a rook move. So I'll leave that point to just reverberate on the ether. Black found this, which cobbles together a sort of a position. Spot the cheapo.
Yeah, G3. Oh, well, queen, yeah.
Oh, yes, G3, forking the two. No, I don't think so. Right. And the king shuttle sideways, and I'm here.
So just a minute, what did white play after King G7?
Queen D2.
Queen D2. See if there's any commentary. White's attack will be finished long before blacks can get the queen side into the game, says Joe Gallagher. Let's see what the other book says. It gives it an exclamation mark. The central move of the combination. White.
Is what? Queen D2?
Yes, it is. 14 queen.
Because he's going to play rook F1 and then rook F7.
The central move of the combination. White summons to the battlefield at last reserves in the form of the queen's rook. At the same time prevents queen G5. Okay, which is now answered by rook to F7 with the discovery against the queen. Well, you knew that. Let's press on. There you are. And here comes the other rook, which is what he said. I think the Queen Mary stocking, I'm sure. That and now a good centralizing move. It's preventing bishop E6 because you take on C7 and there's a fork. Even I knew that bit.
Black's clearly in trouble, isn't he? Because his king's open and he's playing without his rook and he's a bomb.
Yes, and he's playing David Bronstein.
Yeah.
In this position, we're now threatening knight takes C7.
Oh, that's not much of a threat, is it?
Well.
Oh, and
then cement it there, but by E takes D6. So, and now, well, I suppose that's. And would anybody care to guess the next white move? This is the 19th move. What do you think that white should play?
E6
could be anything.
E6, you think? Anybody else agree with E6?
Yeah, because it takes the. He can't take it with a knight, otherwise it's rook F7, isn't it?
Wow. Anybody else got any other moves other than E6?
Queen C3.
Queen C3.
Oh, I was thinking that one.
Yeah, well, that's the thought, isn't it?
The knight.
Or Queen D4 instead.
Is rook F6 a move? No, probably not.
Rook F8.
Yeah, I like rook F8. That's photogenic, isn't it?
Yeah. Just looks nice. I don't know. It threatens him.
Exactly. The move is E6.
E6.
That's what I said.
No, you didn't. Oh, yeah, well, you did. You mentioned it. Yeah.
Bronstein said it first.
No, well, actually, these notes aren't by Bronstein. They're by Weinstein. I think he told me. But he wrote the notes in the book to his match against Botvinnik, which upset him so much. Rook to F7 check.
Wow.
Yeah.
And now here and here.
Okay.
It can't come forward because of Queen D3. Oh, isn't that a shame? So it goes in the corner.
Oh, I see.
I can't help thinking this might be
Nice.
This might be Coyton's.
Nice.
Whoa! Look at this, and he gives up his queen.
Did he have to?
Yeah.
There is no defense. If Queen G5, then Rook H6 double check, King G8, and Rook H8 mate.
Could he have moved his king at all?
Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
Rook takes knight. The obvious thing is to move your king, but it doesn't work, does it?
So where?
Rook G6 or Rook F7.
No, doesn't work. No.
Rook F7 is killing.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as you're happy, gentlemen.
It's
This picks
all
up.
over now.
Yeah.
It's all over bar the shouting. He's got nothing left.
No, that's it. Wow, what game?
And now here.
Oh,
100 years ago, the average life expectancy had not reached 73 years. Players did not have the time to spend 2 days over a game, so they finished them in under 30 moves. And this game was played in 1947 in the USSR Championships.
How old was he then, James?
He was born in 1924, so he was 23 and not yet bald.
No.
How many moves was that game?
Who?
How many moves was the
It was 27 moves.
Wow. Okay.
King's Gambit, if you don't play as black correctly, you get crushed, basically.
Yeah.
Why don't we see a lot more King's Gambits then?
Well, the thing is, Philip, he played like this in all his games, whatever opening he played.
Why don't we see more King's Gambit? Well, partly it is fashion,
Double-edged.
and partly it is the fact that the risk factor.
It is double-edged.
Yes.
Well, it's analysed to death, isn't it? And black can prepare a good line against it, I assume.
Oh, I think you can say that about most things, but I think it's very entertaining, but it's not necessarily. I mean, Mark Hebden played it right up until he lost to John Nunn, and it was a hell of a trouncing.
Can we see that game?
I don't have it at hand, but it's from
I thought
Chester.
it would be on chess base.
Yes, it's from Chester 79.
I'll tell you what, why don't we have a 3 or 4 minute break? And then if we can find that game, or indeed if somebody else has something else they want to show, we can do that. Thank you very much, James. That was great.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Mark Hebden's white, John Nunn's black. Game was played in London in 1979. Not sure what the event was. Anyway, Mark played E4, E5, F4, pawn takes, knight F3, and Nunn played D5. I don't know how common or anything is.
Yes.
Mark captured the pawn, he takes D.
This is fairly common modern treatment.
Knight F6. Bishop C4, defending the pawn.
Well, it doesn't. It's not a knight and a queen on it.
You played knight takes D5 anyway.
Yeah.
You normally play bishop B5 nowadays, don't they?
What take it, Tim?
Sorry?
They normally play bishop B5, not bishop C4.
Oh, I beg your pardon, beg your pardon.
Yeah, white castles here. C6.
Solidifying the knight.
And the queen's coming to B6,
Back
is
to
it?
B3.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Julie.
Yeah, no, it never came to B6. Bishop E6 gained over defending the knight.
Sorry, is it white's move here?
It's white's move.
No, bishop B3. Bishop after C6. Bishop B3.
Bishop
Bishop
B3.
B3.
Why? Why play bishop B3? That's a waste of a move.
Well, you see on his next move.
Maybe he considers it provocative in as much that after knight B6, he'll have to move anyway. And after queen B6, as indicated, D4 cements the center quite well.
So he's going to play C4 next, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Bishop E6. C4.
I prefer black.
Yes.
Well, I wouldn't have worked that one out.
E6.
Sorry, Julian.
So it's C4, knight B6.
Knight B6.
Okay, hitting the pawn.
D4.
Ooh. He's not that worried about the pawn then.
Well, he's getting F4. He's getting his pawn back on F4.
And he's opening the E file is going to be very strong in a minute. With rook E1 is going to be strong, isn't it?
Knight takes C4.
Ooh. Goes for it. Interesting. Black still remains a pawn up, doesn't he?
Got split. Got an isolated pawn as well.
Yeah.
It's white to move. What did he play? Bishop takes pawn. Yeah.
Gone quiet.
Julian?
Julian's frozen again.
It's a cold night.
Yeah. It looks a bit frosty there as well, doesn't it?
I've got the game up on my phone.
Okay.
Bishop
ring up and tell us the moves then, Philip.
Bishop E7.
He took the pawn, yeah, and then Bishop E7.
Yeah.
Okay, so Black's not really behind on development, is he, or anything?
Queen E2.
Here's the wonderful John Nunn.
Indeed.
Well, I like that move.
What would you play as Black now then?
B5.
Yeah, B5.
Yeah. Might as well.
Well, you might as well, and you've got to really, otherwise E6 is falling.
Yeah.
And your structure's falling, sort of thing.
Yeah.
White now plays what?
A4.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Want to get the queen up to E4. Castles might be a good idea for Black.
Yeah.
He played Knight D7.
Oh, okay.
Not quite sure.
More cement, yeah. Is he going to come to B6 or is he going to go to F6 or what?
Either way, Black's comfortable now, isn't he?
I would say so. Yeah.
A takes B5, C takes B5.
No doubt about that.
Well, I think White's got a lot of pressure up the F and the E file if he wants it quick.
Yeah.
He now develops his last minor piece. Knight C3.
Okay. Maybe hinting at D5. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
D5 looks good.
Yeah.
So Black now does something. What do you think Black does now?
Castles.
Yeah. Castles.
But is he not bothered about B5?
No. Knight takes B5.
Has this happened? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it?
I don't understand why he didn't do something about that.
Knight D B6.
Okay.
Well, yeah, but
so he's given up this pawn potentially as well.
Knight C7.
Yeah, that's a good move.
C7.
Yeah, it's going in for the E6 weakness again.
Well, Nunn must have seen this coming. He must have something planned.
Looks much better for White now. Looks much better for White.
Well, hold your horses and hold your bets as well.
Queen D7.
It's a shame Julian's not back on. Are you back on, Julian?
I keep coming on and dropping off again.
Okay, we've carried on.
Try and stay awake. It's not that boring.
Did you want to comment on anything, Julian? We've whizzed ahead eight or so moves.
Nothing to say.
Okay.
Rook FC1.
Why aren't we taking the exchange?
Yeah, why aren't we?
I'm away.
Or even chopping the white squared bishop.
Yeah, indeed. Indeed.
Because we can do that afterwards. We're going after a knight, a clear win piece.
All right, rook c1, go on.
So, sorry, rook F, all right.
Rook
Right.
F6.
Okay.
Oh, F. Oh, okay.
Rook AC8.
Why didn't he take the exchange though? Okay.
Because we're going to win a piece. No, we're not, are we? Oh, yeah.
Rook takes A7.
Yeah, that's quite strong now.
So white's a pawn up now.
Now what?
But what is happening?
He's threatening this.
Well, knight takes E6. Doesn't. No, it does. Yeah, it does win. Yeah.
Is good, yeah.
Yeah, you got queen takes rook.
Yeah, but you can take the other rook.
Oh, that's true.
You play bishop D6.
Oh gosh, that's complicated. I need to think about that.
So, cats and pigeons come to mind. Goodness. So what happens after knight takes bishop?
Well, what's wrong with bishop takes bishop?
Yeah.
Another good question.
Bishop takes D6.
Oh, bishop takes bishop, knight takes, and the knight's pinned on the C file.
No, because the other knight's defending it. The other rook's defending it. He's got 2 rooks on it.
I know, but it's still pinned. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, but he's got the bishop on E6 as well. Sorry, shall we look at that or not bother?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we should go there.
Yeah.
What was played? All right, bishop takes bishop.
Bishop takes bishop. What does black do here? That's so wonderful.
Well, you've got to play knight takes bishop, hasn't he?
Did.
Don't know. Got bishop takes bishop here, haven't we?
Bishop takes E6.
Sorry, did this happen?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
This is still good for white, isn't it?
Colin had a vision, and it actually was.
No. I'm just curious. What's
In a
happening?
second, he saw this when Nunn took about half an hour, probably.
It's not true, and none understood what was happening. Yeah.
Then the pawn takes bishop.
Yeah.
Real mess.
Oh, he can't play knight takes now because of rook. Rook is on.
The rook's pinned. The rook, it's pinned against them.
Yeah. In fact, the knight's pinned against both rooks, which is quite amusing.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Is it white to move?
Yep.
Yeah.
Knight E5.
E5, yes.
Knight E5 looks interesting.
Rook c3 was playable.
We actually played rook C5.
Yeah, rook c3 or c5 is fine because then you're threatening queen takes e6.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, 95 looks, I don't know, very reasonable, doesn't it?
Well, no, maybe not, because then the queen drops back to D8, doesn't it, to unpin itself?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Okay.
So that's
rook c5.
Rook c5 looks better.
Yeah.
But what does it do?
Can't understand the next move for the life of me, really. I don't know if anyone will get the next move.
Well, let's have a conversation, shall we?
I don't quite understand
Takes
it.
F3.
So black to play, is it?
Yeah.
Well, what's white's threat?
Queen takes E6.
Queen takes e6 check.
So you've got to get out of the check. So you play King H8.
Yeah, well, that's what was played.
Yeah, well, that's it then. Yeah, well spotted.
He can still play it, can't he?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's.
Yes, but then you play rook takes knight.
Good point. Good
Yeah.
Good point.
You take the knight, and then.
Yep.
Then the knight's no longer guarding the queen.
Played Queen A6.
And the knight B6 defending the queen, so Queen D7 doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness me.
You've still got 2 pawns with exchange there, but maybe not sufficient. Who knows?
That was completely lost on me.
No, there's no exchange. Both sides are. There's white's one pawn up.
No, sorry. After queen takes pawn, I meant.
All right.
Isn't white threatening knight A8 now?
Well, it's threatening queen takes knight as well.
Queen takes knight
is a good threat.
No, I meant.
So what's white threatening? Queen takes b6. What else?
Moving the
Knight e5 still looks good to me.
Yeah.
So many.
Yeah, knight e5 looks crushing actually.
Black's move, isn't it?
Yeah, black to play.
Knight e4 he played.
If you put this in the computer, who is it? How would it be assessed, as opposed to what should you do?
Do you want me to do that?
I think I do.
You think you do?
Well, I could have phoned a friend, but I'm not friends with Mark Hebden.
Okay.
And I'm blasted when I'm not going with the audience.
White has a slight advantage. Oh, white's got a slightly bigger advantage now.
Well, it's not that big.
What do
Is
you
it?
recommend? I can't. That's too small. for
Oh,
me to do.
Seagull. Even the computer doesn't know instantly.
Knight e4.
It is knight e4, has none played.
Yeah, but it's equal.
Well, what's wrong with queen takes knight then?
Oh, then white gets a slight advantage. White, yeah, the computer's changing its mind. Well, shall we turn the computer off then?
Yeah.
Queen takes. Oh, go on then.
I would have thought.
So knight e4 was played.
Yeah.
Confusing everybody.
If queen takes knight, then it takes rook.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Then what? I don't know.
No, white's still getting two pieces for the rook.
Yeah, but then he plays rook f7, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then white can play.
Knight b.
Does he have rook f3 after queen b6?
That's an interesting idea. Yeah.
Very good question.
Oh yeah, he's threatening queen takes queen takes pawn.
Yeah.
And then the knight and the no.
Another interesting move for black is rook takes knight.
Yeah.
Because then you've got queen takes d4.
Yeah. Yeah.
White, I think white made a mistake now.
Well, they must both have been in time pressure. You'd have thought after this.
Oh,
white took the knight on b6.
Seems reasonable.
That's what I would have done probably, but it probably loses, does it? Rook takes knight.
Rook takes knight. Rook takes f3.
Oof.
Oh.
Ah.
It still looks very, I don't know.
Hang on. Why take the rook? Why take there straight away?
Because then you can play queen takes pawn check and the threatening mate on f2.
Ah. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got knight e6 now.
Sorry, knight we're here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Goodness me.
That holds the pawn, yeah.
Can we play rook f1?
Rook f1.
Oh no, you don't.
Yeah,
do you have rook takes rook here actually?
Yeah,
I thought rook f1, king takes queen f7.
Hang on. Rook a8 looks good.
Let's move back.
Oh yeah. Oh crikey, that's no good then. No.
I don't know.
Well, no point.
Oh, do you have queen takes rook? And if knight takes queen, then rook a8 check.
Oh yeah, we like that. Queen takes rook.
Yeah, queen takes rook might be quite decent.
Oh yeah.
Knight takes queen and rook a8 is
mate in
2.
Yeah. So you can't do that then.
Only a queen down.
What about my move? Nobody laughed.
So, sorry, what about not after knight takes e6, James?
Can he play rook f1?
King takes rook.
Oh, I
Best move in that position.
Now queen f7.
Rook takes queen.
Oh, the rook.
Yeah, no, we can't make that work.
Sorry.
Slight problem there, James.
The idea was good.
Yeah.
Well motivated.
Yeah.
Is that the position?
No.
Yeah, isn't it? Oh, it was a position after I suggested knight takes c6. I don't know if this
Knight,
What about-
knight on
Knight
C7.
D2.
Oh, he's got 92. Oh, he's got
Yeah,
92.
correct.
Ooh,
92. Queen.
It's a
No,
nasty
he's got
fellow.
pawn F3.
Well, why can't he
Leaving the
just
queen
play
on 3.
pawn takes rook?
Yeah, pawn takes rook.
Yeah, you can't get any more checks in, can you?
No.
That knight's doing
You got,
sterling
you
work.
got rook F8.
well, do you still have knight? Does knight takes rook though?
Then queen D4.
Ooh,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Go on, we'll take it.
Okay.
Yeah, because now you're threatening mate as well.
That is nice.
Pawn takes
He's
rook.
still got pawn
Oh, we've still
takes.
got pawn takes
knight.
rook. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now what?
This is-
You got
Now
queen
what?
on prise.
This is ridiculous.
No.
Talk's cheap.
Doesn't work.
No.
Even I can see them.
Where are we in the game?
God knows.
The knight is on C7.
And we're suggesting knight takes c6 for white, and we can't see what's wrong with it.
I can't see what's wrong with it. I think it's a very strong move.
Yeah, if there's anything wrong with it. There's
It doesn't have to, just because he didn't play it, doesn't mean to say that it's not acceptable. It's
No.
Now put the engine on. What are we missing?
Well, the computer's evaluation was more or less equal, wasn't it, after knight
Yeah.
takes c4? And given this is the next move, there must be some sort of counterattack here. But who knows what it is? So we will ask for Mr. Silicon to help us. Thank you.
Alice.
Remember to edit that.
Okay, knight takes c5.
I thought we'd refuted that somehow.
I don't think that was the point at issue, was it? Oh,
Is this the game?
Yes,
Hmm.
well, it could be. Rook takes queen.
Ah, because of knight takes rook, then you're threatening mate. And the
well,
queen.
yes, but
Oh, that is sweet.
Yeah.
That is sweet.
Deviant.
The queen can't get back.
The queen can't cover that square, can it?
No.
Oh,
yeah, but you can take.
Can't do anything.
Oh, the queen.
H3.
can't even do anything funny like Queen D8 or anything because you're going to be pieces down, aren't you?
No, exactly. Yeah.
Um,
Nice one.
That's what
fine.
Nunn would have seen, and Hebden.
I'm sure he would. I'm sure he saw that.
Didn't see it. He wasn't in a position to find it, shall we say?
Well, show us the game then.
Rook C1 for some.
Yeah, so he had an idea about it, didn't he?
Mhm.
Ah.
Let's defend that first rank. But he's just walked back into the pin. Yeah.
Okay.
Then Black played the amazing move.
So I've not seen him actually do anything.
Rook B3.
Rook B3.
What a game.
Oh.
Bloody hell.
B3.
Queen takes rook, queen takes pawn check with mate to follow.
Good night, Vienna.
Yeah.
Philidor mate.
Philidor mate coming.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He spotted it. Queen takes B3.
Philidor's legacy, anyway.
Queen D4 check. King H1. Knight F2. Resigns.
Yeah, we know this position.
It's always attractive though. Isn't it?
Wow. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a queen and two rooks, a queen and a rook down, but he's mated.
Yep.
Yeah.
What a game. I mean, to see through all of those tactics like that is tremendous.
Yeah.
It was played in London, but that's all it says.
Yeah, that surprises me. I thought it was at the British Championships, but if it was played in London, it's presumably at Lloyd's Bank.
Exactly. Cumberland Hotel.
Yeah, that's right. But I really did think it was. Perhaps they played twice in King's Gambits.
Good game.
Good game.
Not many.
Thank you, Julian and others.
I do have a very short game, if anybody wants to see it.
Go on then.
Yeah,
it's more because it's one in my series of games against Grandmasters.
Excellent. Are you going to do a book, Mark?
Is it against short?
Yeah, short game against short.
Well, if somebody wouldn't mind playing the moves, I'll read it out, if that's okay.
Well done.
I'm happy, more than happy to oblige.
So those of you that are avidly following this series will note that in the first game I showed my game against Bronstein, where I blundered, and Bronstein ground out the win. So
and the second game you showed.
So the second game was an actual victory of mine against the Grandmaster, but was not at over the board chess. It was at, unfortunately, it was at chess.com puzzle battle.
Yes. Yeah.
So this game, I'll share the result with you now, is actually a draw, and it's against sort of a Grandmaster. So there's the puzzle. So I'm playing white, and I'll tell you the Grandmaster's name. He's a British Grandmaster. I'll tell you his name at the end of it, but he is sort of a Grandmaster. So I play E4. And this is at standard time limits, by the way. So E6. D4.
So, sorry, you are white.
Yes, yep. I'm white. So D5, so a French defense. But maybe somebody can tell me this variation. I didn't know it when I went into the game. So I played knight D2. Yeah, but he now played knight c6.
Guimard.
The Guimard.
Didn't know this, so I'm now out of my knowledge. So c3.
Base c3 here, yeah.
Yeah, defending the pawn, which turns out to be the a book move. Another surprising move for me here, e5 by black.
You can do this.
You can play knight f3 rather than c3, can't you, to deal with that?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the points of knight c6 is to get in e5 if you're allowed to.
Okay, so I take the queen pawn, and black retakes with the queen. Now knight g f3. E takes d. I was feeling quite happy with this now because of obviously bishop c4. Not sure this is the best move, but he plays queen h5. And I played c takes d. Now, my style in those days was very much, get a pawn ahead, and against a player like this, if I can just keep hold of it, I'm quite happy. So he plays bishop e6.
Did he? Okay,
yeah, I wasn't sure about this one. I thought that.
Yeah, it is equal pawns at the moment.
Oh, sorry, I thought I had a. Oh, that was a miscalculation. Sorry about that.
That's a funny move, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a funny move.
So queen e2 by me.
Yeah, we like it.
Why not?
Sorry, this is what I mean about the pawn grab. Sorry, this is so black castle's queenside.
Oh, okay.
And this is me now thinking, great, I'm going to get a pawn, which is, and I'll try and defend it. Yes, so I take the bishop, pawn takes, and then queen takes. So yeah, you can see it looks a little dangerous for me, but I thought if I can hold that pawn.
Castles.
Yeah, so I castle out of the pin on the queen. He now plays knight f6. And I play knight e4. So he exchanges knights. Yeah, that's right. And
couldn't he have done rook e8 there?
Yeah.
You can play knight takes knight and you're hitting the queen.
Oh yes, okay, yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
Bishop, right, so his attack's starting to look a little strong now. Bishop d6, and obviously he's going to get his other rook on e8. So bishop e3 for me, trying to hold it all together and keep that pawn.
He's got compensation, hasn't he?
He has, really, hasn't he?
I don't know if it's enough. No.
Rook f8. He's going to sacrifice the exchange and then come crashing into h2.
Yeah, rook hf8, that's right.
Oh.
Right, now this is me a bit of desperation here. Queen h4.
Yep.
Queen d5. Right. So I'm just to let you know, we're both starting to get into time trouble. This is back in the days of 30 moves in an hour and a half, and we both played, I can't remember what it was, but both played over the hour here, and we're only at move 17. So Queen G5 for me, which is a blunder, because he follows up with Rook F5.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I clear oversight caused by
You
time.
couldn't have grabbed the H pawn.
Yeah.
Lethal.
No.
Yeah, didn't like the look of it. No,
sausages.
because of Rook H, yeah. So I moved my queen back to G4. And he attacked it again, so maybe that was another mistake of mine. So H4. Yeah.
Yeah, this is looking good for black now.
Yeah. So Queen H3, correct. And I assumed he was going to play G5 here. I thought was the obvious one, and I'm really struggling. But he played Rook D F8.
Yeah, he might even have Queen takes H5 after G5. I don't know.
Well, that's a thought.
No, it does look dodgy, I have to say.
You don't have many other moves.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, so I think I played Rook F E1.
Oh.
Right, now, I'm not sure how many moves he's got left, but I think we're both down to less than 10 minutes, and we're still 10 moves away from the time control. So
can he play Rook takes knight here?
Looks good.
That's a sensible move.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure he can, because I just retake with a pawn, don't I?
And then he plays Rook takes pawn, hitting the queen.
Yeah, and then my queen escapes up to something like
D7.
Oh, you can't go to D7.
You can't go to D7.
No, I can't because of Bishop H2. Yeah, yeah.
G2 would be all right. Queen G2, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Black's got to have something better than that.
Well, what Black chose, and it was a mistake, was Knight B4. Playing on the wrong side of the board, but thinking of coming into D3. And I responded with Knight E5. And yeah, if you look, that stops Knight D3. Looks like it's holding everything. He went Bishop takes E5. D takes E5, correct. Rook takes. And now spot the move that gets me out of trouble with, I've got 4 minutes left to play 7 moves. He's got 8 minutes left.
Bishop takes A7.
So I play Bishop takes A7, offering a draw.
Oh,
and he accepted.
It is.
So I think he was just not confident in playing the final 8 moves. I think the time control was just too tight for him. That may give you a clue as to his status. So,
what's the threat here? Why can't he just play knight A6?
The rook hangs.
Oh, of course. Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
In this position, he's a pawn up.
Can't he put the queen in the way?
Yeah, so
Oh,
it is only a pawn up, but it's
yeah, you can actually. Sorry, yes. I hadn't seen that. No, you've got rook takes rook.
Rook takes rook, yeah.
All right.
Go back to before bishop takes a7 a sec, please. So rook takes, yeah. I'm just wondering, black hasn't got a threat. Is there something even stronger? Because you've always got
knight c2.
Knight c2 is the threat.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but I was thinking.
You've got rook ad1, I suppose.
Rook ad1.
Yeah, rook ad1 was what I was thinking. I'm just looking what happens. Because you still, the queen drops back.
Where-to?
C6 or.
Well, then it's an exchange, isn't it? But, you know, if you go there, you can play bishop takes pawn check. So you've got to keep on the rook somehow.
So e6 then.
Yeah. You've still got bishop takes pawn check though. Perhaps.
Yes, you have.
Have you? King.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
You've still got this X-ray going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just trying to find something even better for white because you've still got that threat.
So it's kind of the same thing, but you've exchanged a pair of rooks.
Yeah.
Similar-ish thing. I don't know.
White.
Is that what you're playing then, Mark?
So
can we have a clue?
So my opponent was the clue is that he was he's a correspondence grandmaster, Richard Hall.
Oh, Richard Hall. He put up the strongest performance in the World Championship, just a decimal ahead of Keith Richardson.
That's right. He came second and in the World Championships.
Yeah.
And but as you can tell, over the board, he always struggled for time. And you know, I managed to scrape draws on a couple of occasions with him. So
he was a High Court judge.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
He used to drive around in a Rolls Royce to club matches. So so you know, it was always a great occasion. Sort of, he turned out sort of twice a year, and I got to play him in a lowly Teesside Division club match and try and complicate matters as much as I could and get him in time trouble and get a draw. So
we did well, Mark. You did very well. Yeah,
you did do well.
Yeah. But he was obviously a much stronger correspondence player.
What was his grade?
I think correspondence-wise, I don't know if it's equivalent. He used to play at about 2.5, 2.6, I think. But I think when I played him in this game, he was at 2.268. So
no, I meant.
But back in those days, he was 209.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And what strengths were you? I'm sorry, I don't know that.
Oh, much lower. I think back in those days, I was around about 150, 160.
I think
like
you
that.
played like a lion. Oh no, come on!
I always spoke myself for the games against him. It was we had this sort of I don't know. Sometimes I felt he gave me the draw when I didn't really deserve it. So just for trying. So but there you go. So that's I do have another couple of games in the GM series, but sorry if this sounds indulgent, but
oh, it's a great series. It's been good.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I still obviously the Bronstein one, which was a loss, and it was only a simul, but I think that's the one that's caused me the most pleasure. Being able to play him was a great experience. So
yeah.
It's a good. The Bronstein one was a good little thing to know. I mean, that could crop out with Heron variations, couldn't it?
Yes, and especially that's right. I've learned from that, and obviously a good Ukrainian player. Anyway, so that was it from me, and I'll see if I can find the score sheet for another one of those. So.
Yeah, very well done.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you.